People will do anything to become famous on social media, even faking their entire lives. Now, more than ever, the internet has made it easier to pretend to be someone you're not. Well, as long as you're able to bury the truth underneath a carefully constructed web of lies, which is exactly what Madison Russo was aiming to do until she slipped up and lost everything. I'm Visual Venture, and I want to wish you all an amazing day ahead. Now, let's dive into how Madison crafted this elaborate plan. Who is Madison Russo? Born in the small town of Elridge, Iowa, Madison Russo was a bright and intelligent girl who had her whole life ahead of her. She was a top-of-the-class student at St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, which she got into on a full-ride scholarship. Not only was she excelling academically, but Madison was also making big career moves. She landed her dream internship at John Deere at just 19 years old. Balancing both a prestigious internship and full-time studies wasn't easy, but Madison made it look that way. It was clear that she had the potential for a bright future. Like most young adults, Madison wasn't satisfied with just a conventional career. She also wanted social media fame. So she started posting regularly on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, trying to build up a community of followers. At first, her follower growth was slow. The influencer industry was more than just saturated, it was competitive. And Madison, despite her personal successes, didn't have anything to set her apart from the countless other content creators. That is, until she found the perfect strategy to secure her social media stardom, one that sacrificed all morals for the sake of internet virality. The journey to TikTok stardom. Overnight, Madison became an internet sensation, but it wasn't because she made a viral video. She made up a whole new life story for herself, one that was inspirational, motivating, and heartbreaking all at the same time.
My name is Maddie Russo, and this is my story. I got the call from my oncologist, and they found a mass on my pancreas, and I had stage 2 pancreatic cancer at just 19 years old.
Madison told her viewers on TikTok that she was suffering from a wide range of illnesses, which included stage 2 pancreatic cancer, leukemia, and type 1 diabetes. She even went into detail about these diagnoses, claiming that there was a mass on her pancreas the size of a football and an inoperable tumor wrapped around her spine. She made up stories for all her fake illnesses and even assigned them fake dates to make them seem more believable. Madison would go on to share these stories with the internet, and their reactions, they were positive, of course. To any unsuspecting person on the internet, Madison was just a young girl who had a terrible fate. At just 19 years old, she was already facing a terminal illness. So naturally, she blew up on social media with thousands of new fans commenting to showcase their support for her during this hard time.
The 5-year outlook of survival is a slim 11%. 11%. At 19 years old, I don't know if I will live to see the day when I graduate college, get married, become a mom, etc. So in the meantime, I fight.
But what they didn't know was that everything Madison was sharing with them was nothing more than a lie. Everything she said was pre-researched and pre-written to try and make the story as believable as possible. And it worked, because she soon grew a decent-sized following filled with loyal fans who wanted to support her and her road to recovery. She updated her audience with daily posts on all her social media platforms, giving everyone a glimpse into her cancer treatments, hospital visits, and also other parts of her life like her daily routine, school life, and workouts. Her fan base was composed of supporters of her cancer journey, cancer survivors, and current cancer patients. They all looked up to Madison for her bravery and transparency about the struggles of cancer, with some even seeing her as a role model for their own cancer recovery journey. She began sharing advice about how she maintained her day-to-day life while also balancing intense cancer treatments. Soon she became an inspiration for cancer patients to keep pushing toward their dreams, which in itself was a good thing. However, when Madison would reach the peak of her social media career, this is when things would crumble. The never-ending lies. Just like how Madison presented a certain facade to the world, we too make choices every day about how we want to present ourselves, and a scent can play a huge role in this. My friends, welcome to this video sponsor, Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription that lets you try out a new designer fragrance every month for just $17. They have over 700 perfumes and colognes with brands like Gucci, Prada, and Versace, as well as indie labels like Skylar and Heretic. Basically, you always get a premium scent. The thing that makes Scentbird considered unique is the fact that you'll get a 30-day supply, so you can try out fragrances before committing to a bottle, which can cost you $150 to $500. So I got 3 fragrances from Scentbird. The first is Dirty Hinoki by Heretic. The scent is described as a Japanese forest bath, and it has like a citrusy note to it. The second is Zur Icon Ice. In my opinion, it has a bit of a stronger scent meant to give off a more confident feel. And my favorite, Roja by Apex, which was inspired by the world's apex animals. It has more of like a warm and masculine vibe. I encourage you guys to try a bunch of different fragrances so you can find one that fits you the best. Make sure you guys use my promo code VENTURE to get 55% off, which is just a little over $7 for your first month. And you can even skip or cancel your subscription at any time. It didn't take long for Madison to go from just a content creator to a full-blown internet icon. Soon, she was getting handed opportunities left and right, with her popularity now going beyond just social media. She was being invited to speak at events, guest star on podcasts, and participate in media interviews. The local newspaper, North Scott Press, even highlighted her story on October 18th, 2022, sharing her journey with the town. Madison gave seminars like the National Pancreatic Cancer Foundation and the Ole Foundation, and was even a keynote speaker for an assembly at her college, St. Ambrose University. To an outsider, Madison was the golden example of what a cancer survivor looked like, but underneath that perfected persona, Madison herself knew the truth. She was a fraud. Not only was Madison's story going viral on social media, but even her friends and family seemed to believe everything that she was saying, and she soon saw a chance to take advantage of her growing fan base. In early January 2023, Madison opened up her own GoFundMe page titled Maddie's Fight Against Pancreatic Cancer. The description of the fundraiser said, "Cancer has been very hard on Maddie's family. Just like with any cancer diagnosis, the cost of medical bills, gas, meals, and expenses can be a burden. And that's something this family should not have to worry about. If you're able to, donations would be greatly appreciated to help cover medical expenses and to allow Maddie to focus on one thing only, which is to show that she's stronger than cancer and will beat this. Please donate or share if you can." Through this GoFundMe, Madison raised over $37,000 in donations from over 400 donors, all to fund treatments and medical bills that did not even exist. But no one knew that just yet. Now that Maddie knew how much money she could be making from this lie, she knew that she had to keep it going. She needed people to keep believing that she was sick, so she kept up with her posts. She faked hospital trips, treatment photos, and anything that she needed to make her lies believable. But over time, holes started to form in her story, and certain things just didn't seem to add up. And finally, people caught on. The holes in Madison's story. Although Maddie had told her entire audience that her chances of survival were slim to none, she certainly didn't look that way. In fact, from the outside, Madison looked completely healthy. Her skin was clear, her hair was full, and she would post photos of herself post-workout. Appearances could be deceiving, that's for sure, but there was quite literally nothing about Madison that would indicate that she was sick, especially not with pancreatic cancer and leukemia. She looked too healthy for someone who was undergoing extensive medical treatments and radiation. Comments about her healthy appearance started to pile up. Madison took to her social media to defend herself. She said that her looks were the result of taking specific vitamins and supplements.
I get a lot of questions about my hair. Like, you look so good. Like, how are you keeping your hair? It just comes down to my brand of chemo, which is oral chemo. I got really lucky with that. Biotin, collagen, and keratin are crucial vitamins that are shown to help with like hair, skin, and nail growth.
But no amount of products can stop someone from looking sick after 9 extensive rounds of chemo. Yet anyone who tried to point that out would immediately get called out by her fans, calling them heartless, cruel, and hateful, with some of her fans even going as far to send death threats if they questioned Madison's illness. In Madison's eyes, she was set for life. However, with more eyes on you meant many more critics. Maddie started to receive criticism on her posts. Some people with medical expertise or who had similar treatments pointed out flaws in her photos. For example, the placement of the medical ports on her body were always either misaligned or not applied correctly. And having been diagnosed with leukemia, pancreatic cancer, and diabetes, it felt almost impossible for Madison to still be able to go to school full-time and work part-time at her John Deere internship. But all this was still speculation. No one knew what the truth really was, not even Madison's own family. A Apparently, Madison's own mother begged her to come along to some of her hospital visits, but Maddie refused. However, the truth became impossible to deny when Maddie posted one particular selfie, a selfie that would ruin her entire life. In early January of 2023, Madison did what she usually does by updating her followers on social media. She posted this selfie of herself supposedly while inside a hospital room. But to people who truly had cancer and to professionals in the medical field, there was one major red flag: the medical tape. In the selfie, Madison had a breathing tube in her nose and tape attached to her upper chest that held a port to her body. To any common eye, this may have all looked normal, but those in the medical field began to quickly call her out for the fact that all the medical equipment in the photo looked fake. The equipment didn't look properly sterile, the wrong tape was being used, and the ports were all in the wrong places. And combined with all the other suspicions that people already had about Madison's career, people began to take the search for the truth into their own hands. On January 11, 2023, anonymous sources who claimed to be medical professionals called the cops, saying that there were many medical discrepancies in Madison's post and that they should check it out. And that was the beginning of the end for Madison. The truth exposed. With how serious the allegations were, the police knew that they had to proceed with an investigation. Madison had just pocketed almost $40,000 in donations from her fans. If what the anonymous sources were claiming was true, then she wasn't a cancer patient. She was a thief. So they got a search warrant for Madison's house. And when the police arrived at Madison's home in Bettendorf, they were shocked by their discoveries. The theories and speculations were all true. Inside, they had found a wide range of medical supplies, equipment, and pills that Madison had used in her social media posts to try and make her bogus story seem more legitimate. This was already a clear sign that Madison had been faking the entire thing, but the police went one step further and subpoenaed her medical records. The moment those files were in their hands, the case was cracked wide open. In her records, there was no sign of illness, no diabetes, no leukemia, and definitely no pancreatic cancer. She was perfectly healthy, and there was nothing in the files that showed any shred of truth about Madison's story. This had turned from a cancer patient's recovery story to a serious felony. Madison was quickly arrested and news spread like wildfire about the girl with the fake cancer scam. Naturally, Madison's fans were outraged when they found out. Her loyal fans that supported and defended her were heartbroken. Madison was arrested on charges of theft through deception, which is a Class C felony. Her GoFundMe was quickly taken down, and her social media pages were also removed from every platform. Although Madison was finally exposed for her cancer scam, people didn't stop digging into her background, and what they found only added fuel to the flames. The end of the cancer scam. Madison had previously posted this to her Facebook commemorating the life of Charlie Spalding, who was a teenage girl from Iowa who had died of cancer in October 2022. When this post was dug up, people on the internet were furious because Maddie was publicly mourning the death of her friend who passed away from cancer while at the same time faking it.
I think the most appalling, infuriating, disgusting part about all of this is that she befriended this girl, Charlie, who was actually suffering from cancer and ultimately passed away.
And to make matters worse, it seemed like Maddie had taken details from Charlie's personal cancer story and used it in her fake one. Before her court date, she had already pleaded guilty to first-degree theft for lying to her supporters to get donations. So 7 months later, in October 2023, Madison showed up to court. During her court case, Madison surprised the public by claiming that she hadn't faked cancer for money. Instead, she opted to go for another sob story. She claimed that she had done it to try and fix her family's bad relationships.
I didn't do this for money or greed. I didn't do this for attention. I did this in an attempt to try and get my family back together.
Madison dove into a story about how her family had been broken and separated since she was a child, and that the relationships have never been mended. Her faking her cancer was her last attempt at trying to fix her broken home.
I come from an extremely broken and separated family ever since I was 2 years old. Over the years, it has gotten steadily worse, and a lot has happened internally to our family. A family is supposed to be one that's drawn together, not drift further and further apart. I was always told that quote, I was the only one that could fix it.
Many people did not believe this story, especially her ex-fans. Many people speculated that she was only saying this to gain pity from the jury, and to some degree, it worked. She had originally been sentenced to 10 years, but it ended up suspended. She didn't have to serve time in prison as long as she demonstrated a good behavior. Madison was required to pay $39,000 in restitution, as well as a $1,370 fine. All donations to her GoFundMe have since been refunded to all the donors. But still, many people believe that this wasn't enough of a punishment. The damage that Madison had done wasn't just monetary. She lied to countless people about being a cancer patient and had become an idol for survivors of an illness that she didn't even have. These damages aren't as easy to calculate, and she couldn't pay any of the people back for that. While Madison's fake cancer scam may have come to light, plenty of people still try to take advantage of others online. Beware of who you support, and most importantly, you don't need to pretend to be anyone else. My friends, be the best version of yourself. Visual Venture. Thanks a ton to Scentbird for the sponsorship. Make sure you guys check out the links below to get your own fragrance. Wait, before you go, click this playlist to watch more videos about the dark side of internet culture because it would mean the absolute world to me. I love you guys. Peace.